What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Well, I don't know why I just did this. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin, and I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. So today we are going to be doing this look right here. I did do the full face on camera today, so this will probably be a long tutorial, but you know, you get the full deets and the full application of this look on my face today. I just was feeling something warm, glowy, and like glam, but wearable glam, you know, like just a very go-to, no-brainer type of look for the spring and summer season. So that is what we are doing with this look today. So if you are interested in seeing how I got this makeup look and you would like to follow along, let's get into it right now. All right, you guys, let's get it going. I want to do a full face today, and you know, I just want to have fun with it. I want warm, I want glowy, I just want a beautiful wearable spring and summer makeup look. That's really what I'm feeling today, even though it is March and it was 29 degrees out when I took the dog out this morning. You know, if you're wondering if I want to hop on a plane right back down to Tampa, yes. Yes, I do. Especially because this is the time of year where the weather is literally perfect down there. But we're going to channel that. We are going to channel that here and bring it to my little corner of Pennsylvania today with a warm and glowy, bronzy makeup look. So first and foremost, I feel like I really need some extra hydration today. So I am going to prime my skin with one of my favorite classic makeup primers. This is the Too Faced Hangover Replenishing Face Primer. It's not really grippy or smoothing or anything like that. It's just got a lot of really good ingredients in it, like coconut water and probiotics. It just is so lovely if you have dry skin. I'm feeling like I need to redo my skincare routine because the skincare that I was using in Tampa and that was working for me when there was so much more moisture in the air is just not cutting it for me anymore up here, at least while the weather's cold. I have just been feeling so dry, like it was immediate. As soon as we got up here, Sean and I both, my fiance and I both have just been like, I feel so dry. I feel like I can't drink enough water. My lips are chapped, the whole bit. So anyway, this is really great. I mean, this is a great primer in general, but I also really love it when I feel like my skin needs a little extra love. Okay, so while that primer sinks in and gets my skin nice and juicy, I'm going to fill in my brows. Nothing new here. Just using the same brow pencil from Rare Beauty that I've been using. I have mine in the shade Deep Brown, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in my brows with that. And we're gonna clean up with a little concealer. Okay, so I think I am just gonna go ahead and do my face first today instead of doing my eyes first like I normally do. So I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Halo Glow. This is in the shade 2, which is their Fair Light shade. And we are going to get that glow going right away. Just kind of covering my face in it. And I'm just gonna spread that out with a brush. For being fair light, like I have a very light layer of self tanner on right now. So I don't have like a super dark tan, but I definitely have, like I'm definitely tanner than my natural skin tone. And I feel like for this being called fair light, I definitely don't feel like it's fair, you know? All right, so I'm gonna take this for a whirl today. So I have only ever tried this once. This is the Maybelline Super Stay 24-Hour Skin Tint. This went very viral like last summer, I believe, and I only tried it once for a TikTok, and I don't really think I had a very good first impression of it, which was kind of surprising because I feel like a lot of people loved this. Like this was the moment. at one point in time last year. So I definitely do want to give it another try. I have the shade 120 and 310. I usually always have 2 shades of my complexion products so that I can mix them depending on whether I am fair or how much of a tan I have. So let's just try a little bit of this 310 shade and see if I can get away with it or if I need to lighten it a little bit. Because I know it's supposed to be like more of a sheer formula, right? I think I should lighten it just a little bit. You can't really tell on camera, but in person it just looks like a little too dark. So I'm gonna mix these two on the back of my hand. I'll be right back. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Okay, so it does have pretty decent coverage and it doesn't look terrible on my skin, but I do have pretty textured skin. I've kind of always had large pores and I do feel like this definitely does emphasize texture on the skin. See how there is kind of like those little pearls mixed into the formula? You know, anything like that is going to be illuminating, but it is also going to emphasize your skin texture. Now, I'm not afraid of my skin texture. Like, if there's one thing that I know as a working makeup artist, especially as someone who I do bridal, so I'm not working on models, right? I'm working on everyday women of all ages, like from moms to brides, 20s, 30s, and then people up in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, grandmoms, you know, everybody has skin texture. And so my point there is like, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not trying to act like I don't. And it's not necessarily something that I really try to cover with makeup. But that being said, you know, you also don't want a product that is going to put extra emphasis on that. And I feel like that was one of my issues with this product the first time I tried it, is that as it wore, I felt like it did emphasize my skin texture a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it works with like the combination of products that I use today. I mean, I do look like I have a healthy glow to my skin right now. And for being a skin tint, it really does have some pretty decent coverage as well. So I can definitely see the draw of this. I can definitely see why people like this, especially if they don't have really textured skin, because it is really glowy and illuminating. But I just think if you have textured skin, you need to be aware of that. Okay, let's do our bronzer contour next. So I'm gonna use my, what is this? The LYS No Limits bronzer stick. I have mine in the shade Harmony. And as always, we are going to try to be light-handed with this. All right. And as always with this bronzer, I'm just going to take that little bit that I got on my brush and just try to spread it out all over my face. It is funny with this, like no matter how little product I feel like I've gotten on my brush, it's still always too much. But that's okay. That's why I like to do this step first. If you do your cream bronzer or contour first, you can kind of make a little bit of a mess with it and then clean it up and even it out with concealer. So I'm not that worried about it. But it is just funny with this bronzer in particular. I'm always like, don't use too much, and then I use too much. Let's do a little bit of nose contour. This is the eye and nose contour brush from the Sigma and Kristen Dominique collection. I really like this brush for both powder and cream contour. I've been using it for both. I actually wonder if I can buy this in a single, because this would be a really good brush to keep in my kit. But anyway, I'm just kind of tapping it in. Again, I got a very little bit of that product on my brush and I'm just kind of shaping out my nose with that. You definitely don't want to get too much of this on your brush for this step because it's a small, precise area that we're working in right now, and you just don't want to be like having to spread your nose contour all the way out and stuff like that. That's kind of gonna defeat the purpose of this step. And real quick, I'm just gonna take my foundation brush with no extra product on it and just tap it all over my face and blend that bronzer in a little bit to just make sure there's no harsh lines and just tone it down a little, you know? Okay, Concealer. I'm gonna take my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Porcelain. This is the concealer that I use on all of my clients in my kit. I love it. It is pretty foolproof. I honestly want to get some darker shades of this and try it out as contour as well, because I've seen people use it that way. It's called their multi-sculpting concealer or whatever, so it actually was produced to be able to be used in that way as well. So, and it really does work across all skin types. It's like actually amazing. All right, I'm gonna take my Sigma F64. This is called their Soft Blend Concealer Brush, and it's a newer brush to my collection. It came in a PR package from them. So I have been testing this out to blend out my concealer. I really am, you know, a beauty blender girl at heart for this step, but it is nice to use a brush too. Okay, so again, just taking my foundation brush and just lightly, I don't want to like mess up the contour, like the sculpting that we've just done, but again, just lightly tapping it over to make sure everything is blended and kind of like melted in. Time for powder. I'm gonna use my Too Faced Born This Way. So I'm just gonna make sure that I am tapping out any creases underneath before we set the under eyes. The fine lines are there, you guys. We're 30, we're in it. We are not spring chickens anymore. So I'm just gonna use this powder on a puff and do a light bake underneath my eyes as usual. Even though I want this look to be glowy, I do still want to make sure that it is set down so that it stays on my face. I know you girls love your cream products and you don't like to use powder, but listen, if you want your makeup to stay on your face, gotta use powder, my girl. Okay, and then just taking a powder brush and dusting off any excess. Oh man, I always do this. I always set my face and then remember that I wanted to do a cream blush. Never freaking fails. Oh well. Okay, we are going to go over our cream bronzer with a powder bronzer. So this is just the NYX Matte Brown Bronzer in the shade Medium. I need to like up my bronzer game a little bit. I don't have very many in my collection and I would like to get some glowy ones. So if you guys have any recommendations for your favorite glowy bronzers, definitely let me know. What I use this step for is to emphasize the cream contour that I've done underneath and really make sure we're looking sculpted. And then also to bring some warmth to the face as well, especially if I've used more of a like neutral toned cream contour. So I'm never really thinking glowy with my bronzers, but I don't know, I would like to start. All right, and then just taking like an eyeshadow blending brush and really quickly just going down the sides of my nose to emphasize that nose contour with the bronzer. I've been getting a lot better at nose contour, you guys. I really have. Look at that. We're looking pretty snatched. I don't know, I feel like my nose has been like getting bigger as I've been getting older. So I don't know if I'm imagining that or not, but nose contour has become a lot more important to me for that reason. All right, we said we wanted glowy, right? So this is the Sigma, this is a highlighter from Sigma. It is in the shade Sizzle. It is like my perfect goldy champagne-y highlighter shade, especially when I have a little bit of a tan. So I'm picking that up on a Real Techniques setting brush and we're gonna highlight with that. Ugh, sorry, they just, I'm hoping that the mic is not picking that up, but they did just start leaf blowing or weed whacking or something right outside my window. So that's really nice, but we can't wait. We have to keep going. Okay, for blush, I'm gonna use this one. It's called Tiger Lily, also from Sigma. I just love a warm, peachy, rosy blush. And this also, I'll hold it a little closer so you can see, this also has a shimmer to it, which I just think is gonna look so beautiful. I use this often as a blush topper for their Corderosa shade, and I just think it's chef's kiss, stunning. I just love this type of color. We are just gonna really get the glow going here. So can you see how like it almost extends my highlight down my cheek because it has a little bit of its own iridescence to it. It's just really pretty. All right, let's get our powder puff again and just snatch right underneath those cheekbones. And we just want to make sure that they are looking lifted, shifted, feeling so gifted. Aha, where are my millennials? Honestly, not even sure if those are the correct words, but you get it. You still know what I'm referencing. I look crazy like this right now. Okay, let's get some brow gel in the brows. This is the Control Freak brow gel from NYX. I do find that the gel tends to collect on the point, like the tip of this. So I will usually do one of these and just kind of run the tip through my brows to spread out the gel and then use the spoolie to comb it through. Okay, so now I'm taking a little bit of a risk here because I've never done this before, but I have this thing from Sigma. It is labeled as an eyeshadow base primer. It does have a shade name. Yes, I believe it's called Radiance. So it's labeled as an eyeshadow base, but it's kind of like a gold champagne shimmer. Like there is definitely a sheen to it. I'm not really used to using like something shimmery as an eyeshadow base, but I figured since we're trying to just go easy breezy with this look today, we could try it and just see what happens. I'm already hesitant. I mean, it looks really pretty as a one and done eyeshadow, so there is that, but that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a one and done eyeshadow. It doesn't look like an eyeshadow base necessarily. And I would say definitely try to blend it out with your fingers because it's going a little patchy when I try to blend it out with this brush. But like I said, we're gonna try, we're gonna go for it and just see what happens and hope it's not a total disaster because I do have to go somewhere after this. And before I forget, I'm just gonna dust this powder off because you really don't have to let it sit for that long, and I don't want it to get stuck on my face to where I feel like I can't blend it out. All right, so I'm gonna break out one of my all-time favorites. This is the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for today's look, this palette came to mind immediately. I also was thinking about using my ColourPop Your Golden Mega palette because I really love that one. Such a good summer palette, like spring and summer palette, but it's out of stock on the ColourPop website. It's also heavily marked down, and I have a sneaking suspicion that they might be discontinuing it, which I'm really sad about because I love that palette for this time of year, but I did want to use it if you can't get it. So this one, hopefully, this was their first mega palette, and hopefully they never, ever, ever, ever stop making this one because I will be very upset if they do. Okay, let's get it together here. So like I said, I really just want this look to be warm and yummy and beautiful. So I am going to go into this shade right here. It's called Complicated. And I'm just gonna start working that into the outer corner and also up into the crease as well. Okay, love that, but I do want to make this look a little bit more brown. This is like a very orangey brown, but I want to make it a little bit more, you know, just brown. So I'm going to come down here into this shade Tabloid, and this is a Sigma E24. And I'm kind of just going to do the same thing. Tap it into the outer corner to start, and then up through the crease. And this is just going to give us a little bit more depth and make it just a little bit more neutral. And then I am also going to take a little bit more of that Complicated shade and just smoke this out a little bit further up onto my brow bone. I'm trying to be careful because I've already done my face, so I'm trying really hard not to get too much product on the brush or do too much at once, just to make sure that we can keep this look really clean. So I'm just gonna spend a little time working between these two colors and building them up until I'm happy with it. I like it. Let's get something pretty on the lid. So I think I'm gonna come into this shade right here. It's called the Talk, and see how we like that. Yeah, super pretty. It's definitely a softer shimmer. I probably could have put a little bit of my P. Louise underneath to make it pop, but I still think it looks pretty just like this, so we're gonna leave it. Okay, let's do the lower lash line. So I'm gonna take a Morphe M506. It's just like a small blending brush. I'm gonna come back into the shade Complicated, and I'm just gonna start connecting the top with the bottom, and we're gonna make this nice and warm and smoky. Next, I'm gonna take a smudging brush. This is from e.l.f. and it's literally just called Smudge Brush. And I'm gonna come back into the shade Tabloid, which is like the second matte shade that we just used on the top lid. And I'm gonna use this to just get a little bit closer to the lash line, and then we're gonna blend this out too. All right, I'm gonna take that same blending brush that I was just using and just diffuse that line. Okay, I am going to take the Honey Dude Cream Gel Liner from ColourPop. I feel like this is a classic. This has been around forever, and it's great as a nude eyeliner in the waterline, and I am just going to do just that. So I am going to run this in my waterline just for a little bit of added brightness. Since this is a very smoky look, this is gonna help my eyes look very open at the same time. All right, we're gonna take one of my favorite shades in this palette. It's called Idle Hour, and it is the perfect inner corner highlight. So I'm gonna take this on a Morphe M31. It's just like a pencil brush, and I'm gonna use that to highlight the inner corner. All right, let's prep for lashes. I'm gonna curl my lashes and get some mascara on. For lashes, I'm gonna use these ones from House of Lashes. They are called the Natalia Light, and they're pretty subtle on me, but that's what I was feeling today. I was feeling a subtle lash. I didn't want anything that was gonna feel like too much for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on. See, they're pretty. Not too much, just enough. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit of mascara on my lower lashes as well, and try to be very careful doing this because I've been making a mess doing this recently, honestly. Okay, so can you guys see how these lashes, they give me a little something. I feel like these are a very like my lashes but better situation. They are really pretty, and again, they don't overpower my eye at all, but they just give me a little something. They make my eyelashes look wispier, longer, a little bit fuller. I really like these. I do feel like I need to, they kind of go on a little straight. So for my eye shape, I do feel like I need to really clamp them in with my mascara and kind of push them up a little bit to get them to look the way that I want, but these are gorgeous. So for the lip today, I want to keep it, you know, very warm and neutral as we've been doing with this entire look. So I am going to line my lips with the shade Little One from ColourPop. Ooh, this looks a little nubby. I don't know where my sharpener is, so hopefully this works for right now. All right, and then keeping it simple, I am just going to go over top of this with the shade Sugar High from the NYX Butter Glosses. Yeah, I think that is like almost a perfect match. How about that? For our finishing touch, I do want to use a setting spray. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. It's hydrating, it does have a glow to it, and I just feel like this ended up being it's still glowy, but very full coverage. So I do want to use this just to bring a little bit more glow back to my skin. If you're following this tutorial for like a summer night out, you might want to consider using this instead, because that will seal you in and sweat proof and waterproof you. This is the combo that I use on pretty much every single one of my brides. Unless they're really oily, I'll skip this, and if they're really dry, I probably won't skip this, but I'll just use a little bit less of it and a little bit more of this. But the combination of this to give you some glow, absorb some of the powderiness, and like bring some life back to the skin, and then this on top to really like seal it in is such a winning combination in my Bridal Pro kit. So I have a set for myself and a set for my clients in my kit. Okay, I think we're done. All right, you guys, here is the finished look. How are we feeling about it? I really like the way that it turned out. This is pretty much exactly what I had envisioned in my head, so I'm glad it turned out that way, because it doesn't always. Sometimes I have ideas in my head and they don't turn out that way when I actually try to execute them. But this is just my favorite color palette to wear. I love warm, bronzy, tan, glowy. Like, I just love that look all the time, but especially when the weather warms up, when we're in spring and summer, I just think that this is so beautiful. Whether you're going out during the day, maybe you're going to a bridal shower, maybe you're going to a wedding, or if you're going out, you know, for drinks and dancing at night, and you know, you're going out on the town at the beach maybe, and you've got a fresh tan, like that's just what this look does for me. I really love this. I feel like I will definitely be coming back to this tutorial in the summer to recreate this look when I'm living life in the summer, so hopefully this is a good resource to you as well. And then of course this palette, I mean, I can't say enough about it. It is absolutely one of my all-time favorites, and hopefully you can see why. I would honestly do 100 more tutorials with this palette, even though it's not new. If that is something that you are interested in, definitely let me know, because like I said, I'm obsessed with it, and there's just so many places we can go with this color palette, especially if you are a neutral lover like me. So if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future uploads from me. I am a tutorial girl at heart, so if you like just your old school, good old-fashioned YouTube makeup tutorial, that is what I love to do. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss any of that. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at glambydev. Over there, that is kind of like my online portfolio. So you'll see a lot more of my client work over there, and you'll see a little bit of me as well. And then at devdevgregs is just my personal life Instagram. So those are two places where you can follow me if you are interested in keeping up with me in between YouTube videos. And yeah, that is gonna be it for me today. So with that, I will catch you in my next one. Mwah. Love you. Bye.